And welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And yes, my brand new Dodge Challenger Special Edition Scat Pack Swinger is dead. It's in the shop and it's been there for 3 days now. It's been screwing up on me for about a week and a half. This car is new. This car only has 4,000 miles on it and it's falling apart. There's a couple other issues, at least for sure one other issue that I'm going to share with you that's happening to that car. And it makes me wonder if maybe, just maybe, Dodge might have been rushing these things out a little bit, because the more research I do, the more forums I join and read, and the more YouTube videos I watch, the more I'm finding that other people who bought 2023s are having some of these little issues. But I have a few concerns, and we're going to dig in a little bit to try and kind of guess, or at least explore, answer some of your questions on what I think is wrong with my car. But this is what I get to drive when my car is broken. Sorry for the wind. It is really windy in Southern California right now, but this is what I get to drive. I am driving the cop car, and this thing is ridiculous, and it's a blast when you're going to car shows and hanging out with your buddies on the weekends. But when you drive it for work and you're wearing a suit and tie and headed to offices and trying to be professional, you're rolling around in this thing, it's kind of interesting. So I just thought I'd show it to y'all again. I haven't done a lot of content on this because it's just, I don't know what the hell to do with this thing. But it's the most reliable car I've ever had. This thing has 107,799 miles. This car I put 10,000 miles on since I bought it 9 months ago. This car has had 0 issues, not a single glitch. It's gone across country. It's gone to Car Week, which is, you know, a few hundred miles away. So over 10,000 miles I put on it, not a single issue. There is a light for the TPMS sensor, tire pressure monitoring system. Those are ordered. I just have to go to the tire shop and have them install them. That's it. So other than that, this car is perfect. You can eat off the engine. This thing is great. But, you know, I got to show you this. Let me show you this engine. This thing is nuts. I mean, it's probably dirtier than it's been because I haven't cleaned it. But 10,000 miles, 107,000 miles. And the dents on the hood, see little dents? That's from my daughter and her friends dancing on the hood at Cars and Coffee. Look how clean this thing is for having 107,000 miles. The car is perfect. It's a little bit of dust from me driving it all across country. Yet my brand new Dodge Challenger, well, that thing is in the shop 3 days now. Probably going to keep it through Thanksgiving. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what I think could happen here. All right, so let's get started. I've had no issues at all. I kissed off the German car nightmare and moved on to these Dodge cars that I've had 0 problems with. Yes, my wife drives her Defender, and yes, that thing loves the shop, and she will, if she watches this, she won't talk to me for a couple days. She still loves that car more than anything. But you expect that from a Land Rover. But Dodge, some of you over the years have been nasty in the comments and said, they're junk cars, they're this, they're that, they're unreliable, they're cheap. Yet, I always write you back and go, I've owned 8 of these things with no problems. And I think the most miles I ever put on one was maybe 18,000 miles. I think that was my red eye. Never had a single issue. Yet now, brand new 2023 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack Swinger. And that thing went down, and I'm going to address some of your questions. So, several of you, quite a few of you had said, well, maybe it was that license plate, that go-go gadget license plate that I put on the car. And maybe hooking that up to the car battery caused an issue. Well, I simply used the provided positive and negative terminals under the hood that, as I showed in the video, and there should be, that are meant to hook things up to. So this is a tiny little electric motor that moved the license plate out. There's no reason why that would cause an issue, but I was smart enough to want to eliminate any possibility. So the first moment that battery light came on my dash, on that car, at the hotel, I popped that hood and I disconnected that thing completely. Both positive, negative. I taped them off, and I figured I'd go a whole week and see if that had anything to do with it. See if maybe there was a parasitic draw, something going on that thing would have caused. And no, the issue kept happening, continued to happen randomly, and then it would go away with the battery light coming on. So I knew it wasn't that, but I've left that disconnected the entire time. Came out on Sunday, last Sunday, all the lights on the dash are on, the car won't start, nothing I can do. I roll it down the driveway, pop the clutch and gear, and I get it started, and then it's fine the next few days. Fixed itself? No, it didn't, because while I'm driving the car that morning, the battery light came on. So I dropped it off at the shop. They hooked up the scanner to the OBD port and came back and said it was some spike in voltage, or a high voltage spike or something that was detected. And the first thing he said was, it looks like a short to me. Well, my assessment was that it could be an alternator. An alternator that's intermittently failing, or that's beginning to fail. And you know what? These things are built by humans. No big deal. If I take it in, it's an alternator. They identify that. Boom, pop it off, put it back on. I'll probably go 100,000 miles with that alternator. Things happen. We're not perfect as humans. Sometimes that stuff takes place. But that was not it. So then a lot of you would put, some of you put in the comments that I needed to check the battery connections. So I went to the back of the car, popped the cover off, and tight as can be, spotless clean, absolutely no loose battery connections at all. I checked the ground connection because that was comments that you put in there. I appreciate your input. Wasn't any of that stuff. I went underneath the dash looking for anything that might be loose, anything that might be unplugged. Absolutely nothing. I couldn't find anything. Another comment said, check your belts. Maybe one of your belts are loose. Maybe one of the belts got wet. Maybe that's causing the fault. Maybe it's causing the spike. The belts are perfectly fine. The belts are brand new. It's a, 4-month-old car. So the belts are fine. So having gone through all this stuff, I can't find anything. And then hearing the service advisor tell me that just to say the word short. So of course, the worst thing you can do when you have a stomach ache is go to WebMD and look at what a stomach ache could be, or to go just to Google and type in, my stomach hurts. You will think you have terminal cancer by the time you're done reading. So what I did, and I know better than this, is I went to the internet and of course YouTube, and I started looking for other people having this issue. And whether it was a new one or an old one, every time I found anything tied to a short, it led half the time to a catastrophic unwinding of the deal. Almost a lemon law type situation, but voluntary, where the manufacturer says, we just can't fix it. We'll give you back your money for the car. So of course, that's me going all the way to the crazy at nth degree. But in my life, having dealt with electronics for many years, being a really big nerd when I was in high school, and building power supplies and rewiring CB radios and microphones and telephones, and I really understood electronics back then, is when you have a short, if you can't find that particular short that's causing the issue, you will be haunted with that issue forever. It will never go away. You might as well burn the thing to the ground. And that's where my head's at right now with my Challenger, is if it's a short, is my car toast? And 3 days in the shop, never have I had a Dodge ever in the shop for repair, and certainly not for 3 full days. And I've been getting lots of notifications from the health app, the Dodge app on the car's health, and it keeps popping up back to back to back, meaning they're probably messing with a lot of things, trying to find what it is, and it's causing a bunch of faults, and it's sending me a bunch of notifications. So of course that raises my blood pressure a little bit as well. So that's a story so far, and I promise you I will share with you all what it is, and you know, the remote chance that it turns into what I've noticed some people on YouTube that are sharing these stories. If it turns into something that means that car is unfixable and they can't find it, then this will be an interesting next month or so of videos, because yes, I will be quite ticked off, just to say the least. You know, the other thing that I'll just say is, you know, I've been around a long time. I've owned over 50 cars. Old cars, new cars, used cars, you name it, I've had them all. And I've had cars with problems. I've had cars with shorts. I had a Mercedes SL 600 with a short, and it turned into a wiring harness. The wiring harness was going to cost as much as the car to change out, because the car was old and used. But what's really terrifying is that oftentimes what the service departments will do is they'll start doing the process of elimination. Well, we changed the alternator. Okay, cool, you're fine. And then a week later, I'm stranded somewhere. We changed the belts. We changed the battery. We changed this. And it keeps going back for things. And it still is some short, some pinched wire somewhere, something that's grounding out, something that's loose, that absent taking the entire car apart, will never be found, and likely could be fixed if while taking it apart and putting it back together, but you'll never know. And that is where the nightmare begins. So I'm going to think positive and hope that they call me literally today and say, it's fixed. We found the short. It was a loose plug. It was whatever the hell it was. We found exactly what it was. Your car is fixed. Come and pick it up. Because I really do love that car, and I really don't want to get rid of that car, and I'd hate to see that thing have to get unwound and have to start all over. Although it's exciting to have to go buy another car, but that's a whole lot of brain damage too. So I'm going to think positive. It's not that. It's just going to be something simple. They're going to fix it, and my next video after Thanksgiving will likely be, they called me after Thanksgiving, car is perfect, everything's great. Let's all cross our fingers and hope that that's the outcome that takes place, and not think it's the worst case scenario. One other issue I don't want to forget about sharing, it's nothing, it's not a huge deal, but on the doors, I'll use the cop car, but right in here, this area, it curves up, and then there's a stitch that comes across right here, and it curves up. The vinyl or leather or whatever it is peeling up. So now it's just kind of bowed out, and it's just peeling off. Like it wasn't stuck well. They didn't use enough glue or whatever. And I did bring that up to him as well, and he said, yeah, you know, we can order that part. Of course, it's a special edition swinger, so it's going to have green stitching. It's probably on back order. It probably doesn't exist. There I go again, you know, but that is an issue. But regardless of whether you have a special edition or any other variant, that issue, go feel it. I wouldn't have noticed it if I didn't one day when I was getting in the car see the wind kind of blowing it, and I thought, wait, the other side doesn't look like that. I would have never noticed it. So check yours right now and see if that area has become unstuck. It'll look kind of normal, but it won't be sunk in. It'll just be kind of flat because it got unstuck. So they put that at least on the list. So that's fine if they don't fix that now, but they order the part and it would take 6 months. Who cares? Because it's not causing any issues. But just check your door panels and check everywhere they had to glue stuff down. Your headliners, make sure, because it seems like maybe some of the cars got rushed out because the build quality in the prior years, and I've had 8 of these things, have always been perfect. This year, it seems like just a couple little issues. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, share this video if it'll help anybody. Have a great Thanksgiving with your families and your friends, and have a lot of fun. And enjoy it. You deserve it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.